Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina for a dynamic ranked matchup. Number 22, Florida State, looking to cement itself as a legit title contender. And number 3, NC State, one of the lone 6 undefeated teams in the country. Dynamic basketball here in the ACC. Well, keep inside Reynolds Coliseum with a former conference champion in Kai Crutchfield. I'm Evan Budrovich. Florida State plays with pace and space. Highest tempo team in the country. NC State, 6 players averaging 10 or more points. So, Kai, how do these teams play to their strengths tonight?
You said it. Pushing tempo. Florida State needs to make sure that they push the ball in transition. They get most of their points in transition offense. On the flip side, NC State needs to play the old school game like they've been playing. Having that post presence and then also having the perimeter players knock down that open three.
Florida State is led by an All-American candidate, sophomore guard Tanaya Latson. What makes this guard special for Florida State?
Coach Wyckoff mentioned, hey, her mental and physical toughness that she's added on and built on from last year, from her freshman campaign, is what drives her teammates. Her teammates follow her lead and her energy, and going off of that, like, her scoring and getting to the bucket is what's special about her.
NC State counters with an all-conference guard tonight. Rivers back from injury. What did you see on Sunday?
On Sunday, she played the whole game, and she showed. She had a double-double, 10 points with 16 rebounds, facilitating and getting all her teammates involved.
NC State will need a big performance from Tanaya tonight. This is an elite top 25 matchup, and NC State is balanced in scoring. It's not just Rivers. We noted in the open, but 5 other players averaging 10 or more points. What does that do for an offense with 6 in double figures?
It definitely opens up the floor. I mean, you have Mimi Collins with the turnaround jumper. River Baldwin's playing really well in the post play, and then of course you got the the people that are on the perimeter knocking down the open threes. Zoe Brooks comes in as that 6th man, and she stepped up for sure for NC State.
There's Coach Wes Moore, 5th active winningest coach in Division I. Good battle, Wes Moore versus Brooke Wyckoff. And let's get this party started. Tip is underway, and the highest scoring guard in the league, Tanaya Latson, goes to work. She averaged 30 points a game to open the conference, and this is her first shot. NC State starting 5. Big player to watch tonight, River Baldwin down low, a Florida State transfer 2 years prior. That matchup versus Timpson down low could be excellent. And here's Rivers on the first possession. Goes to work into Timpson and misses. Hayes the rebound.
Great way for Madison Hayes to get involved here, crashing the old boards.
And an initial bucket for James. Florida State, we noted that tempo. It's an elite guard combination. Latson and Gordon are tremendous. Here's an open shot for Tucker, the Santa Barbara transfer. She's off. And an 0-for-2 start for Florida State.
NC State needs to make sure they limit those second chance points from Florida State.
Look at that dime from James, an elite passer. Mimi Collins, fresh off a 25-point outing at Virginia, comes up way short. And here's Sarah Bajetti.
Here's that push tempo. Good for NC State to clog the paint.
Latson for 3. That's a miss. Florida State entered this game 86 points a night, top 10 in the country. NC State, themselves good scoring-wise, 80 points a game, 6 in double figures, including Brooks off the bench. Down low, Collins. Look at the mismatch here. Collins the find.
Great pass. Mimi Collins could have also scored herself on there with the mismatch. A great find by Mimi Collins and a great dump down.
Pressure here on OMG, Omaria Gore, nicknamed OMG, and how about that shot? Florida State wants to shoot within 12 seconds of the shot clock. It is a pace and space offense as Rivers here runs out of space and steps out of bounds. And that pays for a Hall of Famer at Florida State. Brooke Wyckoff took over for Sue Semrau during the COVID year. And now in her second year as head coach, has built a winning tradition here at Florida State.
Both teams on Coach Moore and Coach Wyckoff both stress the importance that in the ACC, as we start conference play, they need to make sure that every game counts. Every game is weighed the same.
What a shot for O'Mara Gordon. Double-figure scorer for Florida State.
It's good that NC State is not allowing Florida State to push the tempo on them on the offensive side.
Look at that mismatch for Collins. Using the mismatch here for Hayes, who's off. And Michaela Timpson, the top rebounder in the conference, grabs the board. Gordon setting up Bajetti for three. That's a big shot for Florida State. How about the ball movement early?
Transition defense is what it is. I mean, NC State did a great job of closing and clogging the paint, but in that situation, they need to close out to the three-point shooter.
Florida State, 3 of 6 shooting early. Now down low to Baldwin. Tough angle, and the window's good against her former club.
Her facial expression after she made it looked like she was kind of surprised herself.
Florida State will operate quickly offensively. Bajetti on the attack. Now a three-pointer goes off for Tucker. And James fights for the board. She's fouled. What's the importance of defensive rebounding tonight if you're NC State?
Those second chance points, other than transition offense, that's what Florida State feeds off of. Especially when it comes to them crashing the boards. They have super athletic post players and even quicker guards.
Wes Moore noted in this matchup, his defense has to be stout tonight. Top 10 scoring team in the country, Florida State. Here's Collins by herself. That's off. And Baldwin somehow snatches in the rebound. Big offensive board.
These second chance points might be what is going to keep it neck and neck in the ball game.
There's a turnover for Collins. This is where Gordon is special. Throws it ahead to Timpson. What a save, Bajetti. She lets it fly and is off. That reminds me of the Phoenix Suns back in the early 2000s. Pace and space led by Steve Nash. Electric offensively, as Rivers cannot do the same with the miss.
I have to trust you on that one. I was just fresh out the room then.
And Latson's the key cog of the offense. She draws 2 free throws here.
One thing, NC State needs to make sure they keep Latson off the free throw line. She gets a lot of her points there. Latson did a good job and went and attacked the basket until someone stopped her, and no one ended up stopping her, and she got to the bucket.
Tenaya Latson is a free throw machine in the ACC. 30 of 34 in conference play for Florida State. They are making free throws at a high level. Not to mention these first 2 games, 30 points a night. How will that impact Florida State in this game?
If Florida State is able to have Tenaya Latson scoring at that pace, at that tempo, like you said, pace and space, NC State, on the flip side, needs to not let her get to the bucket, needs to not let her get to the free throw line and playing without fouling.
That time a travel from NC State. And Florida State here defensively, they've been able to slow down NC State. How so?
Really just clogging in and helping in the gap. You know, NC State looks like they're trying to attack the gaps and everything like that. They're missing a couple shots. But other than that, Florida State is doing a good job of not letting it be easy to penetrate and dish.
3 early turnovers for NC State. Sets up a 3, and Tucker is off. The former gaucho with UCSB. Neat tradition on campus. They'll throw tortillas after goal scored down in Santa Barbara.
Wow.
Maybe not the traditions of winning here at NC State, but always neat around the country.
Would you pick that up and eat it?
I would eat any taco from Santa Barbara. Here's the steal for Bajetti. She looks to dish out the dime. Look at that pass. Latson is all alone for 3, but a miss. That's a rare one for Tenaya Latson. 0 for 2 start. Rivers in attack mode. Wow, tough miss. Wolfpack only shooting 30% early.
And that's 2 quick shots from both ends on the floor.
This is where Florida State loves to play as Tucker's off. Feels like G League basketball. Both clubs are moving quick, firing up shots. Rivers on the spin, and a steal for Timpson.
And that's that time where you got to slow down. She went in, dribbled in into 3 people. Maybe she just do a little retreat dribble and bounce the ball back out.
Amaya Bonner has checked in for Florida State. The Cal Berkeley sophomore transfer. Latson goes for 3 and a miss. Baldwin the board. We have 20 shots in the first 6 minutes. This game could be electric.
Be like the NBA games last night. 5 teams scoring over 120, 130 points.
And 6 players scoring over 30 points each as Baldwin gets 2 of her own. does NC State exploit that size mismatch down low?
River Baldwin does a good job keeping the defender on her back, and eventually Florida State, they may close in. So when they close in, if River doesn't think that she has a good shot, she can pass it and dish it back out for an open three.
How about that pass by Bajetti on the miss? Florida State, 2 of 11 from deep. Rivers having none of those threes, kicks it. James on a beautiful shot fake to create space. That's a baller going to work offensively, and a timeout for Florida State. These teams are up to the task. Top 25 meeting here in Raleigh, and we're all squared at 10 in this first quarter. Florida State has amped up the pace here in 23-24. It's a new offense adopted by Brooke Wyckoff and her lead assistant Bill Ferreira. 77 possessions a game. That leads the ACC and one of the best in the country. Now, this philosophy is a blend of a bunch of different models. Think of Paul Westhead back at LMU, Bo Kimball, Hank Gathers and crew, Mike D'Antoni's with his offense of 7 seconds or less. And what it has done, Kai, is opened up this offense as a player. This must be high-flying fun to play offensive.
Yeah, and with it being fast, it just the electricity when it comes to like the fans, bringing the fans and drawing the fans into that too, it just makes the building much more electric.
To that point, 11 threes early for Florida State. Here's a block for Zoe Brooks. NC State, the antithesis of pace. They want to slow it down tonight, according to Wes Moore, as Baldwin quickly hits the jumper.
And that's where Zoe Brooks is so good. She came fresh in, got a block and assist all in one possession.
Deep 2 for Gordon off the backboard. Now Florida State struggling to shoot. This is a 3-minute scoring drought. Amy Collins, fresh off a 25-point performance on Sunday. Now it's Baldwin pushing Timpson away. Brooks the spin. Lost it. And good hands there. It'll stay with NC State.
I think on that one, River Baldwin could have spun baseline. The help defender came in through the paint on the high side, and if she'd have spun baseline, she might have been able to get at a good angle for a layup.
Brooks finds Florida State. That's the wrong colors. And now Gordon runs it. The Spanish product, Carla Villegas, swings it to Tucker. That's a tough look. Oh, Kawhi Leonard asked. I love that fadeaway from Tucker.
In that situation, Tucker shot a couple threes. Now she's saying, hey, I need to scoot in closer, then work my way back out.
Because Florida State shot 11 threes in the first 5 minutes. Attacking the basket now.
Yeah, they just need to see the ball go through the hoop. That's all they need.
And yet a tie game late in this first quarter. Collins has doubled. What a size mismatch, and Collins takes advantage.
There's good patience there for Collins as well. The help side flew by, trying to go for the steal. She got it on the backside and finished with the layup.
Timpson rolls that one in. First bucket for KK Timpson. She's the Robin to Latson. 20 points for Latson, 12 points for Timpson. Top 2 scorers. Here's Hayes down low, muscles in and draws the foul on Villegas. Just the first free throw for NC State tonight.
It seems like everyone's trying to get a little post play today. Only one shot three. Madison Hayes feeds into the contact and then hopefully here knock down 2 free throws.
That nugget's important almost every game this year in double figures for Hayes. Only team in the country with 6 players averaging 10 or more. Tonight it's Baldwin 8. And then 2 for Collins, 4 for James. No lead larger than 4 tonight. This is a heavy-hitting matchup early in Raleigh.
Coach Wyckoff and Coach Moore both had great resumes coming and leading into this point. I mean, Florida State with the win over Tennessee, NC State over the win over UConn. They really stressed the importance that, hey, every night on any given night, you need to do what you're supposed to do and focus on a little thing.
And Villegas does her job for 3.
And that was Steph Curry. That was almost at the Tuffy paw.
Vamos out of Malaga, Spain. Big shot for the freshman. And see Coach Wyckoff there begging her defense. They'll give up 70 points a game to Florida State. This is a challenge down low. And a pushing foul on Sakaya White.
Wow, she shot that almost at the ball. But, you know, on Sanaya Rivers' end, she does need to close out a little more. I'm sure Coach Miller had in the scout that she has range. But, you know, forcing the bounce on those three-point players and getting her in the paint and allowing your help to help you.
Villegas with 23 is coming in. Brooks needs help and finds Rivers. This has the feel of a March Madness matchup. This place has gone dead quiet offensively. Baldwin down low with the mismatch. Step through. 10 points for Baldwin early. How is she taking over this game?
I mean, just being patient in the post play.
The other way, a missed three for Villegas. Yeah, Baldwin's been important in this first quarter.
Being patient in the post play. I mean, she knows that they're doubling from the weak side. Allowing that help side defender to get past her or figuring out what it is she can do to add her teammates, get her teammates involved. But on the flip side of it, there is a little bit of a size difference in the paint.
Clock to 7. There's Baldwin. What a first quarter. And it continues. 12 points for River. Gordon with a chance. This is off in time, but short. And a high-scoring first quarter here in Raleigh. River Baldwin with 12 of her own, carrying the load for NC State.
Florida State has done a good job here. Nice pull-up jumper. She wasn't hitting her any other threes, but River Baldwin here with the size up, with the up and under step through, and finishing at the basket.
It's a tale of two different styles offensively. Florida State, 13 three-point attempts, and NC State made their last 6 shots to end the quarter. What did the Wolfpack do well to close out that quarter with the lead?
Really just staying patient. As we mentioned before, Florida State likes to play with the up-paced tempo. When NC State's in the half court, as long as they swing the ball, make the one more pass, and working inside out, they're doing good.
It was a River Baldwin show. 12 points in the first quarter, and Rivers goes right to the bucket, but a miss. Now Tanaya Latson coming off a 30-point effort. Cuts through the lane. Oh, Tanaya Latson's cooking.
NC State, in that situation, has to clog the paint. If they don't clog the paint, Tanaya Latson's going to have another 30-point night.
Maybe the best driver of the basketball in women's college. Good luck stopping Tanaya Latson. Rivers, meanwhile, 2 assists shy of a triple-double in her last performance. Kicks to Brooks. Oh, look at the spin move. Hayes late in the clock. Draws the foul. And free throws here for NC State.
Latson kind of changed pace here. Cradled the ball and then got up and under. When you do that, someone needs to step over and help side. You can't just stay and lay it. You have to step in front and be willing to take that charge.
So Madison Hayes, who leads this Wolfpack team in charges drawn, makes the first free throw.
Madison Hayes also does a really good job of initiating the contact up on the and ones.
She wears a mouth guard for most games. Westmore's most physical player. Facing a high-tempo Florida State team. 13 three-point attempts early. Latson on the drive. There's the contact, and you called it the charge to Baldwin.
I'm pretty sure Baldwin leads the team in charges. It was good for her. She knew she was coming. When Latson puts her head down, she puts her head down. You've seen the mid-range just a little bit, but coming up, Rivers steps in just in time, takes the charge.
Zoe Brooks getting manhandled by Bajetti. This is a great matchup, and the dime to Baldwin. Are you kidding me?
That was a great pass. Great handles by Zoe Brooks, and great dump down. Hey, those goggles coming in handy there.
Is that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the Showtime Lakers? Zoe Brooks going old school with the look. And now the steal. Bajetti offensively attacks. Baldwin with a block. Good cleanup by Zakiya White, the junior college transfer. White was the #1 junior college player of the year last season down at Jones College in Alabama. Here's Hayes. Challenges Latson. A much slower tempo here for NC State in the second quarter. Rivers, tough look. Rolls out. And a tip drill forced by Baldwin. Collins finds Baldwin. What a shot fake. And she gets the roll. 16 early for Baldwin.
And what's good about Baldwin is it seems like she's having a good time.
Playing her former squad, looking comfortable tonight as Latson comes up short. Right the board, and a jump ball. Possession stays here.
I think Mimi Collins and River Baldwin might have had a hand on that ball when she went up.
How has the physicality of NC State played a factor here?
Initiating the contact is good for them in this moment. They haven't shot a lot of threes, but they're getting most of their points in the paint.
Two elite-level programs wanted to prove they're among the best in the ACC. 6 ranked teams coming in, including Syracuse with a huge upset over Notre Dame on Sunday. As Latson rolls it out. Offensive board for Michaela. She goes up and finishes.
I think Coach Moore is a little upset that Maddie Cox might have given up a little too early on that play on the rebound. She could have hustled for that 50-50 ball.
Baldwin off on the jumper. 8 of 10 start. Electric for Baldwin. Now Bajetti. She is so slick. What a pass and a charge.
There's another one. River Baldwin always stepping up in that help side. But in this case, Florida State has had a few times where they haven't had someone help the helper. River Baldwin steps over, willing to take a charge. Hey, she's what, 6'4"? Willing to fall? That's a long fall.
Willing to fall.
Willing.
Interesting.
Willing.
River Baldwin, what a night. 16 and 5 and a couple of charges. Here's Brooks. That's a charge the other way, and Bajetti draws it. This is a dynamic display of how to take a charge.
And this is the physicality of the game. I mean, both teams willing to hit the deck. Coach Moore doesn't seem too excited.
Do you practice this as a player, how to draw a charge?
Me personally, no. I prefer to stay, on 2 feet.
And you were a 40% three-point shooter in your NC State tenure. Not a charge drawer by nature.
I had to do what I had to do. If I had to take the charge, then, I'd do it.
Latson the and one. She takes the foul. Tonight, Latson heating up with 6. Florida State has been outstanding in ACC play. 31 of 35 from the free throw line. Chance to finish this off. And a 3-point play. Because Latson embraces that contact. She wants to attack the basket.
And getting to the basket is what fuels her game. She wants to get into the paint. See some new faces here on Florida State side, but another foul called here. Coach Wyckoff said, hey, I want to get these other players in. When it comes to ACC play, yeah, we're going to do what we have to do in order to win, but she wants to get that confidence from those freshmen and those young players.
Florida State will run 10 deep. And this is by nature of the tempo and the pace. You almost have to keep players fresh.
And with keeping players fresh, it's that next man up mentality. Coach Moore doesn't go as deep into his lineup, but in this game, I'd be curious to see how far he goes into it.
Especially guarding that tempo as Hayes attacks. Oh, the shot fake is excellent.
Nice.
It was like a traffic jam. She watched the whole car slide past her and then zipped into the exit lane.
Yep. You sound like you might be a good driver.
I do my part. Latson drives the lane. That is blocked by Baldwin, and Maddie Cox comes out with it. River Baldwin has done everything tonight. Draw a charge, scored double figures, and a couple of blocks.
She had a few accolades before she went to Florida State, and it's really showing right now.
Baldwin wanted 2 more. A 3-year starter for Florida State under Sue Semrau. Bajetti into traffic. Bonner creates space, and a block.
It's a block party out here.
Bajetti gets space. Big 3 is short. Hayes the rebound. Florida State 3 of 14 from deep. Rivers into her bag. Blows by 1, and Timpson gets a piece. The shot block leader in the ACC.
Here's that push tempo and touches in the paint.
Lovely move by Bonner, and count it. The Cal Berkeley transfer with the N1. Florida State is so dynamic, wiggling through the lane.
And here it shows right here. She had to change the direction, and then another one with the Euro step and get the bucket with it.
Florida State did spend the summer in Croatia, so learn that Euro step in some great towns.
They got taught by the OGs over there.
The seafood in Dubrovnik, Croatia is fantastic. We have a lane violation here. That's on NC State. So one more free throw for Florida State. Westmore not pleased. The only thing that's making Wes happy this week is his Dallas Cowboys. He's a huge Cowboy fanatic. Has an entire man cave filled with couches and Cowboy paraphernalia. Do you think his team pulls off the win this week, NFC East champions?
I mean, he said he's not shining the trophy just yet, so I guess only time will tell.
Big game this weekend in interdivision play.
There goes that mid-range.
As James continues her hot start, 6 points.
They know James can shoot the three, so they're trying to run her off the dribble. But James is a great player, hitting that shot fake, one dribble pull up.
Latson bangs off bodies of Collier. Timpson the board, no. And the first rebound for the freshman, Mallory Collier. You know, to the depth of NC State, 8 players have now appeared. And a strip for Latson. Tanaya on the move, has Gordon. Latson by herself for the lay-in. Well, that's something you can't do if you're NC State. Turn it over.
Florida State does a good job capitalizing on those turnovers as well. I mean, you have to run half as left of the court to get to the bucket, and all the guards are super quick.
10 points off turnovers for Florida State. Here's Brooks, guarded tightly. What a battle with Gordon, advantage Brooks.
It was good for her to reject that screen. She was playing on the high side. Instead of going off of it, she saw the help side waiting over there for her, and she decided to come back and hit that and pop the mid-range.
Gordon stuck in the mid-range, kicks it out. Tanaya Latson, 9 points in this first half. Wants 11. Ooh, tough contact, no foul. Here's Brooks with numbers. Zoe into her bag and is short. Rebound Collins for the cleanup.
Collier might have tipped it there to Collins. I'm not sure if she did it on purpose, but it's good for them to both come back down to clean it up.
6 second chance points for NC State. Gordon, big three. You bet. Tie game.
I think in that, Zoe might have sunk a little too far down.
And James catches the defense sleeping, but a missed layup.
Here goes that push tempo.
Gordon drives the lane. Look at that pass to Latson. Better find a Snoop turnage. And the DO-double-G is short. Now a fight for the ball. And Brooks comes out with it. The OG in the vintage goggles tonight. Beautiful find to Collins. Who needs the 2 when you can take the 3? And maybe it cost NC State there. With a timeout for Florida State. Well, this game's been bonkers tonight, Kai.
And I mean, we've seen a little bit of everyone contributing, but you can't forget about Latson. Her going through, getting this steal, that's straight cookies right there. Coming down on the back end, finishing up with the layup, and now it's a tie game.
Huge road tilt for a battle-tested Florida State. The nationally ranked win's a big one over Tennessee. Played Stanford and UCLA. And tonight, Kai, this program, how have they been up for the challenge against number 3 NC State?
Coach Wyckoff just said in general, hey, we're excited to have this great opportunity. They have 2 solid ACC wins under their belt on top of those big wins. And that their girls don't back down. They never quit, and they want to compete with anybody. Florida
State, a first-round tournament participant last year, battling tonight. 7 have scored. As Gordon zips one outside and a steal. First minutes for Lacey Steele, fittingly.
It must be really comforting for Coach Moore to put someone in. I mean, Zoe Brooks when she came in, Lacey Steele now, coming in and immediately impacting the team.
Steele, the true freshman in Oklahoma. Westmore noted he wanted to get Steele more minutes, an excellent shooter. James with the shot fake, makes it count. Her ability to deke the defense is fun to watch.
And then also her reading the defense. You know she can shoot the three-pointer, but she's been getting a lot of her. I think all her points are at 2 points.
But Jetty off on the 3. James is efficient as well. 4 for 5 tonight for State. Florida State on the switch. NC State has worked the ball in the paint. 22 points down there. And plus 8 on the boards. Rivers elects for the 3. That's a wedgie. Omaria Gordon on attack mode. Challenges 4, and a jump ball could have been called the entire NC State team there.
And that's what Coach Moore wants. There were 4 NC State, there were 4 white jerseys sitting in the paint as she attacked.
That feels like a bull in a china shop to me. Just a player absolutely ramming herself into the lane.
Yeah, you got Mimi Collins and Lacey Steele 1 foot in the paint. In that situation, Lacey Steele has committed fully. I would kick it out to the corner.
That's a fair equation there. Only 2 assists tonight for Florida State, living on the ISO ball. Villegas has returned for Florida State. Sags the screen, and Steele misses the 3. Good job by Latson to get her hands in for the jump ball. If you're Florida State, only 9 from Latson, but 8 players have scored. Checking a lot of boxes in this first half. Bajetti, the clear out. Bajetti blows by. There's the pass. Open 3. Tucker, the air ball, gets her board and is fouled. That's great second effort from the UCSB transfer.
And keeping the ball alive. I mean, yeah, she didn't get the ball, she didn't get the board, but she allowed her teammates to have a good possession and be able to dive on the floor.
4 second chance points tonight for Florida State. Despite shooting 35%, FSU only down 2. Back in the hands of Latson. Good defense, James. Bajetti clings it strong. And now the final minute here in Raleigh. Top 25 matchup. James. Ooh, baseball pass tipped. Collins grabs it, goes up, and banks it in. 6 points for Collins, 22 from the post players at NC State.
Looks like Latson might have been calling for the clear out there.
2-minute scoring drought for Florida State. Nearly a steal. Bajetti the kick. Villegas. Tough look. And a steal. Rivers picks the pockets. And the easy layup.
She gets her first bucket of the game. It's electric in here. This is what, like you said, this is almost like this is March Madness already.
Final seconds. Latson, no. Loose ball. That ends the first half. A physical first 20 minutes. 6-point advantage for NC State.
Everyone's doing a great job. I mean, it's super physical. Looks like someone's down here. Looks like
Sanaya Latson real quick. Certainly something to watch with Latson on the floor. Stay tuned for this second half. It could be an electric night in Raleigh. Get your cotton candy ready for a top 25 battle. Coach is fired up. Latson and crew rolling at NC State up 6 at the break. We'll break it all down when we come back. Not only league basketball tonight, little dog catching frisbees at halftime. Also of note, great matchup between NC State and Florida State. This is the 50th year of NC State women's basketball. So around the program, featuring various decades. And tonight we're going to dive into the 1980s and give you a little more about NC State.
Celebrating 50 years of NC State women's basketball. By the time the 80s rolled around, Coach Kay Yao had already built the Wolfpack program into being a contender. It caught the attention of young girls who would become recruits and then Pack players.
I met Coach Yao when I was 12 years old. I was at a Washington Lee girls basketball camp. When I was 13, my parents brought me to Reynolds Coliseum, and it's the first time that I realized women played basketball in college and you could get a scholarship to do it. I had no idea. I thought, that's what I want to do. And I tried to make myself as good as I could be so she would pick me, and thankfully she did.
The decade began with the program's first ACC tournament title in 1980. After losing to Maryland in the previous 2 ACC tournament finals, the Wolfpack prevailed over the Terps in College Park. The championship trophy had a new home at NC State.
Teams like Duke and UNC, they never beat us. Maryland, oh, I mean, it was just a war, a battle.
By 1980, it's like, okay, it's now or never for us because I was a senior then.
You don't understand that you're making history.
It was a relief, but also a celebration. Determination and perseverance was paying off.
And to finally achieve winning their first championship, it was like, you know, taking a load off of our backs. And I think in many ways it set the foundation of excellence for NC State women's basketball.
Championship success in the 80s had a red and white color scheme. The Wolfpack won 3 regular season championships and 3 tournament titles. The 1985 tournament win was similar to the one in 1980. 2 previous losses in the finals gave way to a championship win, this time by 1 over North Carolina.
Yeah, we played in 3 and only won 1, so I don't remember winning as much as I remember losing.
What Debbie does recall is the opportunity she had to play with 2 of the top players in program history, whose jerseys hang in the rafters at Reynolds. Trina Trice, 2-time ACC tournament champion, 7th all-time leading scorer, 6th in rebounding, and 3rd in blocked shots.
Trina was the ultimate post player, run ahead of the ball, scoring the block, long and athletic, block shots, could defend.
Another of Debbie's 3-year teammates was Linda Hawkeye Page, still 2nd in career scoring with NC State and owner of 4 of the top 6 single-game scoring marks.
Linda Hawkeye Page, in my estimation, is the best player to ever play here. She was the best offensive player we've ever had, and she scored all her points without the three-point line. She was amazing. She could make every play. She was tough. She had size. She was going to make it tough for anybody to guard her, and she made it easier for the rest of us because she was so good. And that's why I think she's the best player to ever play here.
Another key player from the early 80s was guard Angie Armstrong. One of the most prolific passers in Wolfpack history, she still tops the career chart in assists with 608. Different players with different roles from different backgrounds, bound together by the experiences of being a player in the NC State women's program. That never goes away, no matter what decade you played in.
Let me tell you, every time I step on this campus, I have so much pride. What a great feeling it is to be a part of, you know, NC State athletics, to have played for Coach Al, to have my teammates as my lifelong friends, and have the opportunity to come back and support our team now. It's just like, I'm like, yes, it's awesome. It's awesome.
The real national treasure tonight's a top 25 matchup here in Raleigh. NC State up 6 at the break. This game had a bunch of lead changes in the first half. Great basketball between Florida State and NC State. Welcome you back inside Reynolds Coliseum with Kai Crutchfield, Evan Budrovich. NC State living in the paint, over 20 points in the paint in the first half. And Florida State struggling from 3, 4 of 18. How is Florida State stuck in this game despite those struggles?
Transition defense and getting to the line, and also those second chance points. I mean, we see some people driving on the ball, diving on the floor, and just making sure they stay consistent and getting those points in the paint. We already know coming into this game, transition offense was what kept Florida State up. Like you said before, they're the highest scoring team as far as, you know, the deficit and keeping other people behind and making sure that they focus on their weaknesses is what they would need to do to keep in the game.
And NC State's feeding River Baldwin in the post. What an electric first half. 16 points and dominating down low.
I mean, she's 8 for 11, so, you know, keep on feeding her the ball. There were some points where she was smiling when she caught the ball. And when she does that, as long as she's having fun, and then going 8 for 11, scoring 16 in the first half, I mean, there's nothing better than that.
16 and 7 for Baldwin. And really, NC State needed a bucket every time in that first half. They fed River. The Florida State countered with some big shots from O'Mara Gordon, 8 points. How did she take over in the first half?
You see her attacking the paint and then knowing when to score. She knows when to score and she knows when to get to the bucket. She also knows when to hit the three and stepping behind the screen. She's so quick. A lot of times people shade her for the opposite side of the ball screen, but then she's a smart player and she knows when to step back and knock down the three.
And O'Mara Gordon's clutch, especially against good opponents. 3 top 25 games for Florida State, and she's averaging 15 a night. Today she has 8. What allows a player to rise up against the best competition?
I mean, from experience, it's like the clutch time, you know? You just got to be clutch when you got to be clutch. And then knowing that your teammates are going to feed off of your energy is nothing greater than having an assist or having a charge. We've seen a few charges in this game. We've seen this very physical game right here, and Gordon's done a good job of keeping everyone involved and at the same time scoring for herself.
In a night where Timpson and Latson have been leveled in terms of not scoring very much, NC State ended that half in the paint on a 10-3 run. But Taniyah Latson only 9 points. How does Florida State get her more involved in the second half?
Just making sure on her end, continuing to attack the basket. There were some shots that weren't falling for Florida State in the first quarter, but those don't go in, you still have another half to play.
4 of 18 from deep, and then NC State was pounding the ball on the rock with River Baldwin. 30 points in the paint. That's a winning formula for Coach Wes Moore.
Now they might start helping a little more in the paint. Then you have the perimeter shooters need to be ready to knock down that open shot on the kick out.
This dynamic matchup, ranked versus ranked opponent, the only ranked matchup tonight. And this has huge implications now for NC State. You look at the top 10, there were 3 undefeateds left at the very top. South Carolina, UCLA, at NC State. And all of a sudden, we're in the final 3 months of the year. This is a big moment if you're NC State to maintain that top 10 spot.
Coach Moore said great teams don't stay the same in November and December. Making sure you build off of those things, watch that film, and then also attacking the opponent's strength, or the opponent's weaknesses. Building off of their strengths and then also exploiting their weaknesses, it's just a key to success.
Baylor knocked off previously unbeaten TCU, so only 6 undefeateds left. What must NC State do tonight to maintain that undefeated mark?
Continuing to stay patient, having that post play. River Baldwin's doing a good job down low, and then also making sure that they box out and don't let Florida State get those second chance points.
Florida State vying for its 11th ever as a program, top 5 win. This would be a big task on the road tonight in Raleigh. Sold out atmosphere here at Reynolds Coliseum. And the good news, Taniyah Latson went down at the end of the half. She is okay and ready to roll here in half 2.
And that's that physical and mental toughness that Coach Wyckoff had mentioned earlier.
Latson 9 points in the first half. Baldwin leading NC State with 16. And now Baldwin gets an initial touch. NC State ended the half shooting 6 for 6. Dynamic. So Collins lets it fly in an air ball. Boy, things change in a hurry out of the break. Gordon in transition. Latson looking healthy out of the timeout. Gets her ball back. And a nice bucket, 11 points for Latson.
Great job with her staying with the bucket. She thought she might have got a foul called on the first shot, but staying with it and putting it back into the basket.
Florida State needs Latson to score tonight if they want the upset win. Scored 30 in her last 2 ACC games as Hayes is blocked. Good hands by Tucker defensively. Alexis Tucker, the savvy vet. Brooke Wyckoff noted her ability to adapt into roles and take on a lot of different roles defensively for FSU.
And defense is what we need right now as far as post play. I mean, yeah, Madison Hayes attacked the paint, but they need that goal protector.
Florida State gives up the foul, and the and one for Taniyah Rivers.
That's another thing that NC State could really exploit. The size matchup. Taniyah Rivers is a big point guard. She has Gordon here on the post up and then hits it with the N1.
Taniyah Rivers now 4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Her ability to affect the game in so many ways is special for NC State as Tucker earns the board. Numbers here for Florida State. Can they take advantage? Bigetti. Nice look to Timpson, and Baldwin says no. Now a loose scrum, and Collins dives on top for the jump ball. A lot of energy here, and a little bit of emotion if you're Mimi Collins the last 30 seconds. Kai, take me through this as a player. You can tell both teams get a little chippy here in this third quarter.
I mean, it's a big game. You said it. It's a big game. I mean, even myself, I have a history going back to Florida State. What was it, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Man, does that mean I'm getting old? Played FSU in the championship game, ACC championship game.
That was a string of 3 straight titles for NC State in ACC. As Timpson gets hot, 6 points here. Florida State won last year's matchup by 20 points down in Tallahassee.
And Latson had 30 of those points, and that's what Florida State needs her to have that tonight in order for them to potentially get close to getting that dub.
Rivers down low, tough look, and Timpson the board. 6 points, 4 boards for KK Timpson. Gordon the other way. Oh, the dime to Timpson leads to the layup.
And here's that transition offense that's keeping them in the game. I mean, they're only down 2. They're only down 2. They're not hitting the shots that they want to, but they're staying in the game by pushing tempo.
Only shooting 38% and hanging around here in Raleigh. James guarded tightly by Gordon. Tough lob to Collins into the double. James with 5. Hayes with 3. Heaves. An air ball. Here's Bajetti. Nice pass. Latson for the lead. Florida State misses. Timpson the board. FSU only 4 of 19 from deep. And Baldwin has her 5th block. Oh, the steal. Latson picked her pocket. The best player in the ACC goes to work.
NC State needs to slow down. Florida State is definitely speeding them up. In the last couple of possessions, we've seen that here.
It's a 6-2 run out of the break for Florida State, led by its defense in this 3rd quarter.
Bajetti does a really good job of just disrupting the ball handler, and he or she made Rivers turn the ball over.
Florida State shoots for the lead. Oh, Bajetti hits it. What a huge triple. 9-0 Florida State run.
Bajetti wants to get her teammates going, too. I mean, this is an electric crowd to be in, but NC State needs to make sure that they slow down.
First 3 of the 2nd half for Florida State. Now Hayes. No easy looks for NC State in the 3rd quarter. Baldwin tries for one, nearly stripped. What has Florida State done here defensively?
Speeding them up, just speeding them up. Gordon here on the strip. On the flip side, transition offense. Bajetti was really far from there, but she knocks it down. Closing out to those shooters, but then also clogging the paint, it's going to be a challenge for NC State.
Bajetti is a markswoman, 2 of 6 from deep. James gets by 1. Tough look. Collins the board. Baldwin, tallest to the trees, no. And the tip goes to Florida State, although Wes Moore thinks it's the other way. And that call will stand. If you're Brooke Wyckoff, you have to love this start to the 3rd quarter.
Making sure that they push tempo and playing like NC State plays, she knows that they can compete with anyone, and they're really showing you here at the start of the 3rd quarter.
Here's Timpson, given space. And a miss, offensive board. Tucker bangs in, a foul. Hold on a second, travel. Turnover, Florida State. What does NC State do here to snap this 3-minute scoring drought?
Just be patient. They know what they've been in the situations like this before. They know what to do. There's a whole bunch of veterans here on the court. And just playing NC State basketball.
NC State, 2 top 3 wins. That's the most in the country, but in a battle here against number 22 Florida State. And Brooks provides the solution. Zoe Brooks, 6 points off the bench for NC State. Latson lets it fly. Best be careful against Tania Latson. That range is impressive.
It's very impressive, and she's just a 3-dimensional player. I mean, you could say she's a 5'10", however you want to say. Off the free throw line, getting to the basket in transition, and then, River Baldwin with the and one with the stank face.
Give her 18 points against her former foe. There's no answer for River Baldwin tonight.
And that's what NC State needs to continue to feed off of. She gets the post feed here, she's patient, fills her on the top side, and goes into the contact and one.
Now, Timpson's the best shot blocker in the league, but she can't defend Baldwin tonight.
Baldwin's just doing a really good job initiating the contact, dropping her shoulder, not too much to get the offensive foul called, and just going up strong.
Only the first foul on Timpson. And now NC State back within 1. Gordon, huge 3. That's a miss. Florida State 2 of 4 in this half from deep. Brooks. James for three. Off on the response. Gordon fights for the board. And it'll stay here. NC State 0 of 8 from 3 tonight. That's uncommon for an NC State club.
It is, and Coach Moore says, hey, if we're not shooting the ball well, we need to be able to win in other areas of the game.
Wolfpack entered the game 35% from deep. Now a steal for Latson. She's special. Transition time. Latson hangs and misses. Here's James. Wolfpack numbers. Brooks left alone. Misses the three. Collins saves it herself. 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Every rebound to battle tonight. Brooks with 7. Off the screen. Kicks it down to 3. Collins. No good. Baldwin, her 8th rebound. That pass is tipped, and the steal.
Those are second chance points that NC State needs in order to get back in the lead.
But Jetty is fouled, and free throws here for Florida State out of the timeout. What a battle. Number 22, Florida State, up 1 as we hit the final minutes of the third. This is a big week in the ACC. A nation's best 6 teams in the top 25, including Syracuse, who made it for the first time all year on Monday. And NC State leads that charge at number 3 overall. Florida State at number 22, putting on a heck of a performance in this third quarter. Florida State led by Tania Latson, who was another time player of the week. Last year as a freshman, she won 10 of those. And Hannah Hidalgo might break her record come March. 6-time Rookie of the Week. What an impressive debut for Hannah Hidalgo. Syracuse able to answer themselves a huge ranked win over Notre Dame. See that 27-point outing from Deja Fair on Sunday? Syracuse might be a team to mess with here come March.
Yeah, and I mean, going into it, conference play, it's like March Madness, but it's the prereq of March Madness.
This is January Madness. It's Tania Latson's show. 7 points in this third quarter. What has Florida State done to flip the script and retake the lead?
Pushing pace, playing like Florida State, their tempo, attacking the paint, getting touches in the paint, and then now they're hitting shots. They weren't hitting shots like they wanted to in the first half. Now that they're hitting shots and getting into the paint, they're a hard team to beat.
Our lead official, Bruce Morris, right there, talking about a clock question, readjusting some of the game clock. The clock did not run for a few seconds in that first half. So the clock is readjusted to 4:16. There was a malfunction on the clock. No malfunction, River Baldwin, though, tonight. 19 and 8 for the NC State forward.
No glitches over here for River Baldwin. It must be exciting being able to have a night like this against your former school.
Baldwin in game 126 with half of those at Florida State. Here's Pagetti at the free throw line. Florida State's first miss from the line, 4 of 5. And these are huge points for Brooke Wyckoff's club, searching for its second top 25 win. And an offensive board, Timpson. This is a Florida State team that entered at 78% from the line in conference play. Gordon the kick. Tucker. Nice step back. Oh, the fadeaway. No. James the board. NC State, 2 of its last 10. And no look easy against this tough defense of Florida State. Collins goes down low. Baldwin having a night. Kicks it out. Rivers off on the 3. This is a physical bad boy Pistons type defense for Florida State, making life tough for MJ. And, of course, the Chicago Bulls, but even NC State's offense is another turnover for Florida State. That defensive intensity has been impressive for Florida State.
It has been. Florida State knows what their weaknesses are at NC State, and they're showing it right now. NC State has to slow down, but Florida State, they're used to playing like this. You see, Coach Wyckoff is doing a good job of subbing and keeping everyone fresh so they can continuously play at that fast-paced speed.
forcing NC State to miss its last 5 shots. Even with control on the basketball, there's some trouble here for the Wolfpack. Rivers with 10, backs it out. Tight defense, Bonner. Rivers draws the foul, and free throws here for Sanaya. Because every once in a while, the play doesn't work, and your best player's got to go to work.
Running late in the shot clock, it was good for Sanaya Rivers to get to the line. I'm sure she has not having this best of an offensive game as she wants to, and it could start here. Getting to the line, knocking down those shots, seeing the ball go in.
Now 5 points for Sanaya, who played all 40 minutes on Sunday, coming off a back injury where she had missed her previous 3 games. Westmore noted he wanted more balanced minutes for Rivers, and a bit of a shooting low early tonight, 2 of 10. Now it's Florida State riding a 2-minute scoring drought. Pagetti gets in the lane. Look at that find to Tucker. Into the double. Offensive.
That's charge number 3 for River Baldwin. Number 3.
Her anticipation defensively, that's been neat to watch.
I mean, she's there. All she has to do is take a step into help. She's already in help. She's done a really good job this game.
Is that Eddie Van Halen? Tongues out, having a party? You're too young.
You she's having, yeah. I just have to trust you on that one. She's having fun, though. She's having fun. That's all that matters.
Against her former squad in Florida State. 19 points, 3 charges for Baldwin. Brooks. That comes up short. And now Gordon on the run. Florida State, a pace and space offense. How about that? A 4th charge.
Back to back. And she's shaking her head like, why have you not learned? Gotta love the smile. Gotta love the smile. Gordon does a good job of attacking the basket. Great charge. Great charge by River Baldwin.
She's having a party down there in the lane, making things happen defensively.
Party on both sides of the court.
That's 4 Florida State turnovers in the last 3 minutes. Collins makes it count from 3.
And that's what it's all about. That defensive effort on the other side of the court, it stems what you do on offense.
Lats in the pass. Open 3. Bonner is short. And Florida State in a 4-minute scoring drought. Brooks into the lane.
Fancy Euro step.
Shelly Brooks unstoppable. Give her 6. What's the answer here for Florida State? And a timeout instead. The number 3 team in the country taking over in this 3rd quarter. A 10-0 run leads us to a timeout. It's a 10-0 run for the number 3 team in the country, NC State. Led by balance, 4 players get on the board in that stretch. What has NC State done to flip the script in this 3rd?
Playing like NC State, I mean, here, Mimi Collins, Coach Moore talked about her shot. She's been shooting the 3-pointer pretty good. And then you come back, Zoe Brooks here with the fancy smancy Euro step and the finish. NC State's doing a good job. Now they're like, oh, you want to speed it up? Now they're taking control. It's almost like controlled chaos. You can play fast, but you have to play under control.
And it forced 4 turnovers defensively in the quarter. Florida State needs a bucket. Latson goes down low, and then 1 for Timpson. Nearing a double-double, 10 and 7 for Timpson.
The NC State players seem to be a little confused. Who fouled her? Great find by Gordon here. A good finish. River Baldwin seems to be a little confused about the foul, though. But hey, you got to keep playing.
First free throw for Timpson. Looks pretty good. And Florida State responds out of the timeout. Largest lead tonight, 6. James tries it. Baldwin, a rare outside the lane shot, 21 for River Baldwin.
And let's talk about the theatrics, the athleticism. Isaiah James getting that backdoor pass. Is that another charge?
Give her 5 charges. I've never seen that in the basketball game.
Never. River Baldwin is electric here. She might be a fan favorite. Good backdoor pass. Fine by Isaiah James to knock down bucket. And her feet are like a foot outside of that arc.
Remember, the arc this year in women's college basketball doesn't count.
Yeah.
But she's able to maintain that position.
It counts regardless. Whether it counts or it doesn't count, it counts.
Brooks gets tripped and a steal. Here's where Pachetti is special. And a strip. Timpson has it. That comes up short. Final minute of this third quarter. Baldwin 21 down low, but she trips in the lane. And the officials will call time. Uh-oh, tried to create position on Timpson and comes down awkwardly. So the training staff comes out. Brittany Blunt, the AT. Let's take a look. Ooh, that leg extended there for Baldwin.
Seemed like a little bit awkward as she tried to get position.
You could tell the weight of the world there on Baldwin as she gets back to her feet.
Can't really tell if it's a knee, an ankle.
I'm not a doctor, but I know that hurts. So Mallory Collier will check in, at least for the next 40 seconds. What's the adjustment here if you're NC State now, possibly without River for a little bit of time?
It's the next man up. Post play still continue to work out of it. These are minutes that Collier could use to gain confidence. But again, it's the next man up. She's got to try to keep that spark, keep that energy that NC State has brought and that River Baldwin has brought to this game.
So Baldwin had 21 and 8. She's out for the moment with the injury. We'll keep an eye on that. Mallory Collier, the true freshman, comes in. Collier gets a touch and immediately scores.
And that's that impact that you need from the freshmen and the young players coming into this game.
The shot clock did not start. So play pauses for the moment. Tony Patillo, our ref, she's on it. So the clock game begins.
Only a 5-second difference.
It's more stressful than taking an SAT with the clock ticking down.
Man, let's not even start there.
Final 30 seconds of this third quarter. Latson gets in the lane. That comes up short.
Give State the opportunity to take the last shot here at the end of the third quarter.
Rivers with 7 attacks. Blows by and a foul drawn. Free throws here for Sanaya Rivers as she comes up awkwardly. Remember, tweaked her back in early December.
She's got her hair on her hip. Good extension there. Did land a little awkwardly. The camera died. Hopefully the camera dies okay. But great way to attack the basket last few seconds here of the third quarter.
This 7-point lead matches the largest of the night for NC State. And free throw number 10 is a team coming up for Sanaya Rivers. Makes one.
Not many free throw shots for this whole game.
So Florida State, 3 seconds left. Pagetti with room. This is off. Pagetti short. And NC State flips the script from down 6 to up 8 in this third quarter. We have a battle coming up in Raleigh when we return. Top 25 matchup here in Raleigh. Number 3 NC State has ended quarters. A 15-3 run in the third. The news of note, though, is River Baldwin, top scorer for NC State, 21-8. She went down with an injury in the final minutes of the third. What's the adjustment here for NC State in the fourth quarter?
Maya Collier has shoes to fill, but she came to NC State for a reason, and Coach Moore put her in this game because she knows she can do it. She knows that she can come back in, and it's the next man up.
That's a huge loss with River Baldwin down for the moment. And Collier, whose career high is 10 points back in non-conference. Big shoes here in the fourth after a 15-3 run by the Wolfpack. Rivers looks to help, and a quick basket for NC State.
Great way to use her length and athleticism to get up on that basket. She might have been able to stop the backboard on that.
Largest lead tonight for NC State. Big three, Bridgetti. That's short. The Seminoles are 6 of 24 for deep. What's been the difference here in the second half for NC State?
Using the tempo to their advantage. We knew that coming into the game, both teams like to run the ball, run down the floor, and transition offense. But NC State's kind of capitalized on that.
Led by Rivers in this second half. Look at that fight in the paint. Collier kicks. Brooks with 5. Gets to her shot. And connects. An old scoop long J from Brooks.
A great find by Collier. She had 2 people closing out on her, and then also Zoe Brooks closing out.
Bonner is fouled on the drive. Florida State has to find a way to use those shot fakes to make things happen.
And using those shot fakes, and then not thinking where the defense is going to go, but where they are in that moment.
6 blocks for NC State, 6 charges drawn, have really made life tough for Florida State, who led by 6 in the third quarter. Now Turnage to inbound. Finds her high school teammate, Tanaya Latson. Latson tests Collier. Tough look. Rebound, Tanaya. Turnage for 3. That's short. Latson aboard. A third opportunity for Florida State. Now the screen. Latson through 4 and a foul drawn. Now that, with River Baldwin out, could be a strength here for Florida State.
It is, and it seems like Latson knows that. Mentally, being able to say, hey, their person that's their rim protector is not in right now, and making sure that they attack the basket hard.
Latson 3 for 3 from the line tonight. And this is a Florida State team that flourishes at the free throw line, because Latson's a scorer at 17 tonight. She's 3 away from her 27th with 20 or more. Could score 1,000 points by as early as next week. What a career in 42 games.
I mean, her freshman campaign itself was pretty phenomenal.
10-time freshman of the week in the ACC. Now an All-American candidate. Brooks, who is in line for an all-freshman team honor, finds Hayes.
Mimi Collins is looking for the mismatch here.
Timpson has none of that shot, and Turnage saves it. Florida State down 10, needs a bucket. Latson tries for it. Bridgetti the cross. Nice move into Collier. No, it pinballed out. Now Brooks. Collins checks in down low. That was tipped. Simpson the board.
Simpson's starting to show more of a defensive presence here in the paint.
Here comes Latson into the body of Rivers. So 20 points again for Latson, and here's Florida State down 8. This game has changed suddenly since the injury of River Baldwin late in the third quarter. Rivers gets to her spot. Nice look. Collier blocked. That's 3 blocks in the fourth for Florida State. Bridgetti wants it, runs it, and draws the foul. So Brooks commits the harm, and free throws here for Florida State. FSU has changed their mentality offensively.
It's almost like they know that River Baldwin's not in the game, so you see they're getting more touches in the paint. River Baldwin's doing a good job of taking those charges, but now you see that Florida State is attacking a lot harder than they were before.
Florida State second in the ACC in free throw shooting. 2 big ones here in the fourth. So Pagetti and the Seminoles, 8 of 10 from the line. And now a 5-0 run for Florida State. What does NC State do to get a bucket offensively?
They're getting pressured. You see Pagetti pressuring the ball here. She's in the game not only for her offense, but for her defense. Speeding up the perimeter players. They need to handle the ball, limit the turnovers, and make sure they exploit the mismatch. Sometimes they switch on Mimi Collins.
Here's Rivers on the switch. Clock to 7. Deep 3. Hayes misses. And now Gordon in transition. Gordon enters the lane. Nice kick. Turnage swings it. Latson drives. Steal. Rivers. One of the best pickpocketers in the ACC.
Mimi wanting the ball.
Collins gets the ball. One-on-one versus Timpson, the shot block leader. Collins. Good step through. Timpson, none of it. And a steal. Good hands defensively. Pagetti into the lane. That's Potter. And she's silky to the free throw line here. Foul on Rivers.
Pagetti does a really good job changing direction. And she's also really quick with the ball in her hand. She changed direction, goes up into the chest of Sanaya Rivers, and gets the foul drawn.
All of a sudden, a 6-0 run for Florida State. Latson has 20, and Pagetti now with 8 to join the party. This is a Florida State team that is excellent at the free throw line, 18th in the country, only behind Virginia Tech for best in the ACC.
If the shot's not falling, get to the bucket, get to the free throw line. See the ball go in and work your way back out.
We have a 4-point game with 6 minutes to go. Top 25 matchup here in Raleigh. And Brooks on the attack draws the foul. Just the first team foul for Florida State. You can live with that if you're Brooke Wyckoff. No River Baldwin in this fourth quarter, down via injury late in the third. So James takes over and banks it in. Good solution for NC State.
Zaya James back in the game, she kind of adds that spark, adds that electric energy to the NC State side.
Latson so tough in the lane, and a foul. Collins can't believe it. And free throws here the rest of the game for Florida State. That all of a sudden plays a huge factor if you're FSU.
Good attack, getting her on her hip. I'm not sure.
There was a bit of ball, bit of hand there too.
Yeah. It was like a bit of a block high five.
Remember, Mimi Collins earned a technical foul on Sunday with some post words after it and one. Have to be smart in these moments. 5-point game.
And being smart comes with sometimes you have to hold that passion in.
And some fans have printed T-shirts already for the and one. It was a point of content for NC State. They did get the win.
That was, like you said, that was a quick turnaround.
4-point game. Brooks taking over as the freshman. Collins down low. Fades and is way short. Look at that save by Hayes. James attacks. And a steal for Timpson. Latson on the move. Nice find. Bonner. No options. Pagetti. Spin. Stripped. Brooks. Brooks. Lays it off to James. What a find by the freshman.
I'm not sure I even saw it. She kind of confused me a little bit there.
13 assists for NC State. None bigger. Latson. Pressure coming. Gordon for 3. What a big bucket. Florida State's 7th triple.
Huge bucket by Gordon. They're icing the screens over there on the sideline, but someone has to come up and help on that ball screen.
Gordon averages 15 points a game against ranked foes. What a huge bucket there for 11.
Hey, she's showing up in clutch time. That's what good players are all about.
Brooks in clutch time drives and misses. Hayes, the N1 rebound. Final 4 minutes in the lone ranked matchup tonight. Number 3 NC State, 5-point lead. Gordon, such a tough assignment on Hayes, pulls up and hits it in her face.
That's a great shot by Gordon.
That is a Mamba mentality, Jay, right there from 12 feet. You gotta love it for Gordon. She's not afraid of the big moments either. 13 points. Huge scoring option for Florida State. James, good drive. And a blocking foul. Jetty slid late. Free throws here for the Wolfpack. When we come back, what a battle here in Raleigh tonight.
Brooks getting the steal here, pushing tempo, having numbers. Was that a behind the back pass? Pretty good find there as James running. Then Gordon coming up here, knocking down the three.
Huge top 25 matchup tonight. Florida State has history in these moments, seeking an 11th top 5 win. NC State wants to continue a perfect start. What has Florida State done in these last 5 minutes to get back in the basketball game?
Attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line as well. That's free money. That's free money. The clock stops, and that's what keeps them in this game.
It's a 6-2 run for Florida State, right back in it. And NC State, one of 6 undefeateds left in the country. Without River Baldwin, these are huge minutes for the depth of NC State.
And coming into this game too, Florida State goes deep into their bench. With the pace, we're seeing now that NC State has to go into their bench, despite Baldwin injury. He's pulling out from the.
As Isaiah James misses the free throw. All of a sudden, an undefeated team playing a little tense with 3:33 to go.
These are good numbers, I must say.
Has the feel of an NCAA tournament game here in early January. Just the second week of the conference. And can Florida State pull the top 5 upset? Bajetti drives in. Nice pass. Bonner for 3. That's short. Bajetti the board. Goes right back up and is blocked. Here's Brooks.
3-on-2 here.
James. Whoa, way off. A little forced shot for NC State. Latson. Good find. Bonner for 3. That time she misses. 2 good looks if you're Florida State. Here's James. Tough move. Hard angle and way short. Here's Florida State down 4. Latson in attack mode. Latson makes it 2.
You see her kind of staking it out here as she gets past half court. There's a few turned NC State heads in the paint. Yes, they're in the paint, but they have to be active in the paint.
24 for Latson tonight. Brooks sizes up Bajetti. Takes on Bajetti. Good hands and advantage Brooks. Every time NC State needs a bucket, they've leaned on the true freshman. 10 for Brooks tonight. Final 2 minutes here in Raleigh. Latson cuts through 2. Nice left hand for Latson. Unstoppable in the 4th.
In Florida State, they have a shooter on the weak side, so it's kind of hard for Madison Hayes to help. She can't help too much, but you have Latson attacking the basket. You got to step over and help.
6-point swing in the 4th for Florida State. Brooks. A steal. Good hands by Bonner to stay here. That's aggressive defense from Florida State.
And that's what Coach Wyckoff loves from her perimeter players. Testing those perimeter players on the opposing team and speeding them up. They're the ones with the ball. They're the only ones that can score.
Alexis Tucker returns for Florida State. So it's starting 5s the rest of the way. Wes Moore wants a timeout. He'll talk this over. What do you drop here if you're the Wolfpack? Up 2. We'll get you that answer when we come back. 2-point game here in Raleigh. It's a tight one. Huge possession for number 3 NC State. What do you want to see out of the Wolfpack on this possession?
I would say using the shot clock. I mean, they only have 10 seconds left, but when it gets down to it, they have to make a good shot, have a good possession. It's cut short. I'm sure Coach Moore's drawn up a good play. I'm curious to see what they come out to do.
One of 6 undefeated teams left in the country. NC State in a battle tonight. There's Brooks with 8. Tight defense. James on the drive. Hard angle, banks out, and Timpson the board. Florida State with numbers. Latson, who has 10 in the fourth quarter, bringing Florida State back. Final minute, the clear out. Latson to the bucket and fouled. Huge free throws for Tania Latson.
She does a really good job of initiating contact. Zoe Brooks was in good position, but as soon as Tania Latson, she comes in and draws that shoulder, she kind of gets her on her hip. She kind of double touched there. I believe if she would have went up on the first one, she might have been able to get to and one.
Tania Latson leads the ACC 89% from the free throw line. These are 2 huge ones. Knocks it in. 27 for Latson, 3 shy of her second straight year scoring 30 against NC State. This for the tie. What a ball game. 61 seconds. Undefeated NC State in a tight one here in Raleigh. James blows in. Tough look for James.
NC State has the potential. They could come back and get their last shot.
Florida State with Tania Latson, 28 tonight. Latson drives, doubled. Latson banks it in. Tie game.
Clutch shot there by Latson. Clutch shot.
And a 30-burger for Tania. 11th time in her career.
With the quick bucket on the opposite side, now Florida State can go back and get the last bucket.
5-second difference. Rivers with 8. Wants a timeout. And a late call by Westmore. 7 seconds left. What a huge moment for number 3 NC State as Tania Latson taken over in this fourth quarter. Kai?
I mean, great court awareness, great mental and physical strength. You're attacking the basket, drawing the foul. Another one, drawing the foul, getting into the bucket.
And 14 points. She's done everything in this fourth quarter.
Even keeping the ball alive. There are times when she's gotten the rebound here in the second half, and just making sure she also continues to swing the ball and wait for her chance to get that good shot.
Brooke Wyckoff said Tania Latson's mindset this week has been next level. Her ability to process and get ready for this moment. We're seeing it in the biggest moments from Tania.
Coach Wyckoff also said that she hasn't really coached a player like Tania Latson, and it's showing today.
14 in a huge fourth quarter. Florida State plus 8 in the fourth. And now with 7 seconds, this is a critical possession if you're NC State.
NC State definitely needs a score right here because there's still time left on the clock after you shoot at the shot clock runs out.
Remember, River Baldwin out with an injury late in the third quarter. She had 21 points before going down. So it's the depth of NC State being tested. Biggest possession of the game. 7 on the clock. The lob. Rivers turns. Blocked. Stripped. FSU ball. And hold on a second. The shot clock. It never started.
Never started. 2 problems here.
What a defensive presence there from FSU.
Absolutely. They came up very athletic play by, I think it was Timmons.
So let's keep an eye on the clock, too.
Never started.
because those two shots would not have reset the clock. It never hit the rim. So now the officials will check the monitor to see how much time is on the shot clock.
And if I'm not mistaken, it did look like the ball hit off of Sanaya Rivers' hands last.
The call on the court is FSU ball.
So if this call stands and you're NC State, you really want to contain and get out to the shooters.
So let's see here on this last possession. See that shot clock not moving. And you're right, that looks off of Sanaya Rivers. Number 3 team in the country up against it here with 9 seconds left, Kai.
It looks like Coach Moore is drawing up something over there. I'm curious to see how they're going to play defense. If they're going to clog the paint, they haven't really had the perimeter, the three-point presence Florida State's in. But I'd like to see what, Florida State's bench is drawing up. Are they going to hit Sanaya Latson? She's hot. But then you also have a few other players like Gordon that's also clutch in this moment.
Let's check first who this went off of. Oh, that looks like the arm of Sanaya Rivers.
Oh.
The last second, that hand, did it make contact?
Because you can also tell when the ball changes rotation, it might have hit off her fingertips.
The call on the court was FSU ball initially, and there you go. There's that last touch. So now if you're Florida State, what's the game plan? 9 seconds left in the basketball. Regardless,
if you get the shot off, great. But if not, you got more game to play.
And a timeout for Brooke Wyckoff. That's been the cold-blooded killer tonight. Sanaya Latson. What does this venomous viper have left in her bag tonight?
It could be anything at this point. We've seen her do just about everything. She's knocked down the three, she's hit the mid-range, and she's gotten to the bucket. She's played at every dimension offensively in this game. So I feel like all the attention would be on Latson. So in your opinion, do you feel like maybe they could have the play drawn up for Gordon?
30 points for Latson tonight, 11th time in her career. And it's balanced, 4 in double figures for Florida State. What a moment for the number 22 Seminoles searching for a top 5 win.
And it's crucial. Each team on offense, making sure that they execute whatever it is that Coach Wyckoff is drawing up. But on NC State's side, making sure that they contain and defend. Florida State searching for this win, it could be huge, especially on the road.
Would be the 11th top 5 win in Florida State history. And NC State would fall as one of the 6 undefeateds left. This has major implications in the ACC.
You say major, and it's like capital M major. I mean, staying undefeated on NC State's end and then Florida State beating this team. The crowd's trying to pick it up here. Got some people starting to stand up on their feet.
What a possession if you're Florida State. Down 8 entering the 4th quarter. Now with the basketball, 9 seconds left.
And basketball is a game of runs. I mean, both teams have gone on runs. And in this situation right now, you got to do what you got to do.
Packed house in Reynolds. Florida State basketball.
Florida State going with the full high set.
Latson, ball in her hands. Game on the line. Latson for the win is stripped. And we go to overtime. One good look and a defensive stop by NC State.
Great defensive possession by NC State. In my opinion, I feel like Latson may have waited a little too late in the time to get that shot off. It was like she was about to go off the screen with only 1 second left.
And those late hands from Collins forces overtime. When we come back, 5 more minutes of basketball here in Raleigh. It's overtime here at NC State. A game on the line. Sanaya Latson stopped by NC State's defense.
She rejected the screen here, looked for the Euro step, but Mimi Collins had good hands to strip her off before she went off the basket. Then you also have Zoe Brooks standing in help. I'm excited about these next 5 minutes of basketball. Both really good teams, really good resumes going into the preseason with good wins, and it's showing here.
Florida State down 8 entering that fourth. Flip the script with Tania Latson. Almost had 20 herself in that fourth quarter, taking over. And as a player, take me through this mindset. You grinded for 40 minutes, and now you play 5 more for a huge top 25 win.
This is that extra oomph and, the strength and conditioning. Pushing through, and sometimes in overtime, it's more of a mental thing. You know the plays, you know that it's still the same scout, but you have to kick into that 56th gear.
First overtime game for both programs this year, and away we go in Reynolds Coliseum. Number 3, NC State without River Baldwin the rest of the night due to injury. Looking for a response in overtime. Florida State came back down 8 to force this final frame. Hayes for 3. Starts the overtime with a triple. The 4th player in double figures for NC State. Latson the kick. Tucker. Tough angle. Here's Latson with 9. Finds Timpson. Michaela spins. Nice look inside. 13 for Timpson.
Timpson did a good job staying patient there. She's so long and lanky. That release, it's hard to, disrupt her shot.
2 rebounds shy of a double-double for Timpson. James dekes out a defender. Good adjustment by Gordon. Behind the back, James slips, keeps her dribble, and a block by Timpson. Oh, it's the human car wash down low. The shot blocking queen of the ACC.
Isaiah James with theatrics here. Good back door. Timpson said, no, no, no.
That is the Harlem Globetrotter dribble. She keeps her dribble on her knees. And play continues for NC State. Clock to 2. James answers the bell from 3.
Great move, Isaiah James. Great move. Hey, the sniper's coming out now. The sniper's coming out.
2 threes in overtime for NC State. Gordon the pass.
Very fine.
Timpson stripped. Here's Rivers. Backs it out.
And that's a smart play by Rivers. It's a 2-on-2, but you have the lead in overtime. Go ahead and slow it back down and get everyone in the offense.
Brooks operates traffic. Rivers with 7. Sanaya off the screen, doubled. Hayes, tough 3, is tipped. Rebound Timpson. Florida State in transition with Latson. Attacks the kick. And a tip ball. It'll stay here for Florida State. How do the Seminoles get a bucket down 4?
Doing what they've been doing. Pushing tempo, getting in the paint. Again, with Rivers out, there's no shot blocking presence. There's no person in the paint that's willing to keep him on.
This crowd has gone wild in Raleigh, including Coach Wes Moore. Gordon lets it fly. Way off on the 3.
Coach Moore is still livid about that call.
First overtime game for both programs this year. Brooks into the lane. Whoa, a foul on the drive. Sends Zoe Brooks to the free throw line. The calm and cool nature of this true freshman, it's incredible to watch.
Very incredible. And being in these moments, just imagine what she's going to look like, in 2-3 years from now. She kind of went up with the one hand like she wanted to jelly there a little bit.
Zoe Brooks, a National Freshman of the Week in her debut, has played big minutes with no River Baldwin in this 4th quarter and overtime. Now 2 free throws for Brooks. 5-point game.
You think free throws are crucial in the 4th quarter? Free throws are even more crucial in overtime. They count when you don't even think that they're going to count, regardless at any point in time in the game.
In front of the NC State men's coach, Kevin Keats, with a huge win at Notre Dame last night in the closing seconds.
How about DJ Burns?
He had a walk-off win himself. The same shot Tania Latson just missed. Florida State Down 6, Pachetti. Into the lane. Nice move, make it 4. 2 minutes left for Florida State. James into her handles, fires a 3, and a short. Tip drill to NC State.
These second chance points in overtime really makes a difference.
Tough defense, Latson in a foul with 8 on the clock. Coach Wyckoff not pleased. Remember, only the 4th team foul, so 1 away from the bonus here for NC State. A fresh 20 for the Wolfpack. Best defender in Bajetti versus best scorer in Brooks. Collins tipped. Back to Collins. 5 on the clock. Rivers has to go, and she does. What a bucket from NC State.
Big bucket for NC State. Now up 6, only 1 minute, 8 seconds left to go in the game.
What does Gordon have left? Final minute. Bonner. Blocking foul. Called by the courtside official, Mark Barrier. And free throws here for Florida State.
It seemed like one was going to call a charge, one called the block. How do you kind of, on the angles there?
That's a great question. Let's take a look. Did she maintain that position?
She might have opened up her hips a little bit, but at the end of the day, I would say that's a no call. You just let them keep playing.
It ends up in free throws for Bonner. Florida State 15 of 17 tonight, and a big miss. Six-point game in a raucous Raleigh. Missed them both. Free Chick-fil-A for the fans on the miss, and a 6-point lead. This could be the dagger for NC State. And Brooks is fouled. Free throws on the next foul. Pardon me, that is the 15th foul. So the bonus here for NC State. And it's up to Dr. Brooks at the free throw line. The old school goggles and new school playing. 12 points for Zoe. Extends the Wolfpack lead.
Now we've got a 3-possession game.
Number 3, NC State tested to the final minutes. Now its largest lead in overtime. Tanaya Latson sitting on 30 with the basketball. Latson stripped by Rivers. Need a bucket here. Gordon attacks. Gordon! Nice layup. Now the foul game. And a Rivers to the free throw line. We're entering tonight. Sanaya Rivers, 73% from the line.
When playing the foul game,
Is that the player you want to foul if you're Florida State?
Right. And 73, you said 73%? That's not bad, but it's crunch time. You have to knock him down.
2 critical free throws for Sanaya Rivers. And a miss. Now 2-possession game still.
Now you know Florida State is gonna play in the backcourt. What if you're Florida State? Do you continue to foul if it's only a 2-possession game?
It's 3. 7-point difference. Latson's got to move, down 7. Gordon, huge three is off. Rebound, Florida State. Gordon the kick. Pagetti rolls it out. Rebound, Seminoles. And a travel on the board with Bonner down. That might just do it for NC State. As the Seminoles check on Bonner. Amaya Bonner down.
I think she might have stepped down wrong on one of the NC State players and rolled her ankle.
Watch Bonner at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Oh, that ankle. The athletic trainer, Nicole Lowry, out there along with Coach Wyckoff. Good to see Bonner get back on her feet. What was the big difference tonight in this overtime period for NC State?
NC State really went towards the Seminoles' weaknesses, I feel like. Making sure when they slowed down the ball in transition and slowing down the ball in the half court. Florida State likes a really fast-paced game. When NC State slows them down, it makes the perimeter players play defense longer instead of playing, that coast-to-coast in transition.
And a rare sigh of relief for a 13-0 NC State team that watched Florida State have a possession to win it late. And the Wolfpack are seconds away from moving to 2-0 in the league, but not an easy night with Tania Latson cooking for Florida State.
And that's what you're going to see from Tania Latson. Again, going back to her freshman campaign, having multiple 20-point games, multiple 30-point-plus games, that's what Florida State needs for the rest of the conference play.
The 11th 30-point game of Latson's career and a third straight. We'll take a quick timeout and wrap things up here in Raleigh in a 7-point game in overtime. Seven-point game here in overtime. Number 3, NC State, executing at the free throw line in overtime. 5 of 6. And now the Wolfpack with the basketball up 7. James has to get it in. Good hands, Pagetti. And Brooks able to break the pressure. A late foul here for Florida State extends it with 7 seconds left. So NC State in this overtime, 5 of 6. What did we learn about the Wolfpack in this game tonight?
I would say they realized that it's a marathon, not a sprint. With it going into overtime, ACC is a conference that it can go either way. And with them playing against Florida State, they're seeing a team that's fast, a team that's athletic, and a team that has shooters.
It would be the 4th 14-0 start in NC State history. You've been on a couple of those teams.
Yeah, the top one looks real familiar there.
Florida State had a shot to win it in regulation, unable to pull it off. And Tania Latson comes up short in a dramatic overtime battle. NC State, for the 4th time in program history, starts 14-0 in a grinded-out battle against number 22 Florida State tonight.
Coach Moore has done a great job with the team, the scout report. Coach Wyckoff has also done a great job with Florida State. They both stressed, hey, with conference play, each game holds the same weight, regardless of the rivalries or anything like that. Coming out every single night and just competing.
What a battle between Brooke Wyckoff's club and Wes Moore. It came down to overtime. And NC State, 5 in double figures, the difference, led by 21 from River Baldwin. Tania Latson had 30 of her own, but not enough tonight. Thank you for joining us here in Raleigh. NC State back in action Sunday against Virginia Tech. But this was a doozy here in Raleigh. For Kai Crutchfield and our talented crew led by Lucas Raycraft, I'm Evan Budrovich. We say good night as number 3 NC State survives in overtime.
Welcome into Nothing But Net, our first official ladies' night of the season. Looking forward to a season long of riding with these women beside me, alongside Ivory Latta, Kelly Gramlich, and our Hall of Famer and new statue member, Muffet McGraw. First time we've seen you in person since the statue went up, so come on for the Hall of Famer. I'm Kelsey Riggs, excited for all we have coming your way in ACC women's basketball this season. And it's good to be back, Coach. It's a fun time of the year as conference play is really just getting underway.
Yeah, it really is. Now is the time when you look at those top 25 rankings. Every game's important. You've really got to start building that resume for the NCAA tournament.
And Coach, now's the time to talk bracketology.
Well, not exactly.
That's right. We're ready. Not yet, but sooner than you think, I will be doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is a fun time of year right now. You get to see what the teams are made, and, you know, you get to watch great players.
And you've got so many great teams in the ACC. We start with the top 25 showdown that we had tonight between number 3 NC State, undefeated, 13-0, hosting number 22 Florida State. River Baldwin used to play for Florida State. This is her second year with NC State. And, Coach, she was spectacular early.
She really was. I think she won the breakup in that matchup. She did a great job from every area on the floor, offense and defense.
She had 21 points, which was close to her career high. But then, third quarter, she goes down, has to be helped off. Hate to see that. Looking for an update on her. So other players need to step up. What can they do? Isaiah James.
Look at that behind-the-back pass from the freshman. She was really good after River Baldwin went down.
And then Florida State also has a sophomore now who's really good. Taniyah Latson drives inside, gets them within 2. 41 seconds left. Seminoles down 2. Who else, Ivory Latta?
Go to Latson. She gonna get the buckets.
The contested shot ties the game at 74 after an NC State turnover. Florida State, last chance. Can they win it? Latson gets the ball stolen away by Mimi Collins, gets her hand in there. So we head to overtime. NC State up 1. Isaiah James for 3. Wolfpack extends the lead to 4. And then Sanaya Rivers doing her thing as well. NC State wins it 88-80. The final in overtime. Go ahead and do a little dance there, ladies, because they are still undefeated and now a 14-game win streak. And this is nothing new for that guy right there, Westmore and his team. 14-0 for the 4th time in program history, 3rd time in the last 6 seasons. And this early in the season, they already have 3 wins over top 25 teams. Another big game coming up against number 13 Virginia Tech. But right now, let's start with what we saw from this team today. And Kelly, when they needed somebody else to step up besides River Baldwin when she went down, they had a lot of options.
They did, not necessarily in the post. It was more they went smaller and some of the guards stepped up. Zoe Brooks made some big plays. She had some turnovers in the first half, settled down in the second half. And then how about Isaiah James? In the overtime, that behind the back to the left and hits the 3. She was really good too. Sanaya Rivers made plays. Everyone came together after Baldwin went down.
That's what makes this team so good, the balance on their team. And Isaiah James, you don't talk about her as much. She's the leading scorer on this team.
That's big, and like you said, when one person go down, other ladies have to step up, and that's exactly what they did tonight.
5 different players finished in double figures. Mimi Collins had herself almost had herself a double-double, 11 rebounds and had those 9 points, but came up with the big steal at the end to send it to overtime and keep their hopes of staying undefeated alive. I want to focus a little bit in on River Baldwin and just the impact that she made. Coach, you've coached a lot of players. There's always added emotions for different reasons, but when you're playing against your former team, I know it's not her first time, but in a matchup like this, she's got to bring a little something extra.
Yeah, you really do, and I think she knows those guards, and I think she knew exactly what they were going to do. They start driving the ball. She knows, I'm going to take a charge, and she did a great job. I think she took 5 charges.
Speaking of that, Kelly, did you catch that? What you got?
Well, yes, we did, in fact, catch this. This is something that you might have not noticed tonight here in ACC play. River Baldwin, before she went down with that injury, she took 5 charges, and she got hurt near the end of the 3rd quarter, so there was still time to play if she had stayed in the game. That's crazy. 5 charges, and especially for a center, Coach. You don't always see a center taking charges. Generally, it's maybe a guard coming over help side, whatever. And here's my petition. Why are charges not in the box score? That drives me crazy. I'm sitting there having to count them, tally them up, old school. Charges should be in the box score. What are we doing?
I agree.
Thank you. Thank
100%.
you, Coach.
I mean,
Coach said it. She has a statue.
If it got to do with defense, I'm not really sure what's going on. But I agree with you. It should be in the statute.
All right, so I mentioned that Virginia Tech is their next opponent. We'll have more on that coming up. Welcome back into Nothing But Net. Be sure to tune in Sunday morning, 11:30 Eastern. Justin Walters, Ivory Latta getting you set for a quadruple header on ACC Network. Headlined by the top 15 clash in Blacksburg between NC State and Virginia Tech. You'll also want to tune in because Ivory Latta may be up here dealing with snow. So quite an entertaining day, to say the least. Here's a full slate of games Sunday with 5 of the ACC's 6 ranked teams in action. Let's focus in on that noon matchup between number 3 NC State, number 13 Virginia Tech. Could be a preview of things to come in early March because the last 4 ACC titles have run through Raleigh and Blacksburg. The Wolfpack became just the 5th ACC women's basketball team in history to win 3 consecutive ACC titles, and then Kenny Brooks and his crew won it last year, their first ever. Virginia Tech, they've been lethal this year from deep. The Hokies knocking down 10 3-pointers per game, lead the league in 3-point field goal percentage, converting nearly 38% of their tips from beyond the arc, and what will be just the 15th game of the season. Wolfpack seeking their 3rd top 15 win of the season. Westmore's squad already taken down number 2 UConn, number 5 Colorado, number 3 Colorado. But now classes in session with Coach McGraw.
Welcome to Office Hours. It's the start of the new year, so let's keep things elementary with the Venn diagram. A Venn diagram is used to visually organize information and to compare 2 or more choices to clearly see what they have in common versus what might distinguish them. The diagrams are used to teach simple set relationships in probability, logic, statistics, and even basketball. As we dive a little deeper into Sunday's matchup, let's break down the similarities between NC State's Sanaya Rivers and Virginia Tech's Georgia Amor. Both players have the ability to attack the rim. Both use the ball screen to open up their mid-range shot, and both can score from beyond the arc. But let's take a look at where their games differ. Here comes the tape. And what you're going to see first, I think Georgia Amor is a tremendous ball handler, really crafty with the ball. You've got to respect the step-back 3, and the defender falls for it. She's going to keep her eye on the defense as she decides to drive it to the basket. They don't want to leave Kitley, which leaves Amor wide open for the reverse layup. She's a terrific passer. She knows where the 3-point shooters are at all times. The defense steps over to stop the drive, and she finds Zek on the 3-point line for an easy, wide-open 3. Georgia Amor's ability to see the floor and to attack the rim are what make her so special. Sanaya Rivers, on the other hand, is a great defender. She can read a passing lane. She can deny the ball. She's going to get the steal here. With 2 people on her, she goes behind her back. She's able to take it to the rim, finish with contact, and she is so strong inside, but she is a great defender. She also has more athletic ability than Georgia Amor. Watch the elevation here on her shot. She has a 29-inch vertical leap, one of the best in the conference. These 2 are what make their teams go. There's great matchups inside, but I love this matchup. It is going to be a great game on Sunday. Make sure you tune in.
Coach, good stuff. We're looking forward to it. Great Venn diagram, great classes in session. Before we dive into this, real quick, we started this because you started teaching. You're still teaching?
I am.
Have you failed anyone yet?
I have not failed anyone yet. It's a fun class. I'm an easy B.
Yeah, how many people do y'all think sign up for the class? Sorry, I'm way off tangent now. Just because they're like, oh, Coach McGraw. I gotta take Coach McGraw.
I think it's more because they've heard it's an easy beat.
I know. Well, now that you have it, you can run that as a promo. Notre Dame, we've got that going for you. Okay, let's get to the game because it is going to be a massive one between number 3 NC State and number 13 Virginia Tech. We love to talk about the guards and love the breakdown you had there. But Kelly, we were also really looking forward to talking about this matchup of the bigs and River Baldwin, Liz Kitley. What would that be like? We don't know what River Baldwin's status will be after the injury, and she didn't come back in and play. How does that change things and what we'll see?
Yeah, it changes things a lot because guarding Kitley is the task number 1 on your game plan when you're playing Virginia Tech. Will it be Cox, a young freshman? We also have Mallory Collier as well that you might see for NC State. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do. If I'm NC State, I think I go smaller. I go with Mimi Collins and Madison Hayes inside, use their athleticism. maybe start Zoe Brooks and then go from there. Because Virginia Tech, they have Kitley, but not crazy size around her.
You know, she doesn't get deep in the paint. So it's not that kind of issue where you feel like you're going to be smaller. Mimi Collins could probably match up with her. They could push her off the block. The problem with River Baldwin guarding her was when she came to the perimeter. She's probably not going to be chasing her around on the perimeter. So it might benefit them to put Mimi Collins on Kitley. But you got to double team if she does get down low. I think you got to bring somebody from the weak side. You can't bring her from the strong side. And then everybody's got to rotate.
Yeah, I'm with you, Coach. You got to make her feel uncomfortable right as the game starts. You know, don't let her get comfortable that she can just bag you down, knowing that, you know, we don't know if River's going to play or not. But, you know, that will be a big blow. But somebody else has to step up.
Well, she likes to dribble in the post, and that's when those guards got to go down there and get that dribble.
Okay, so that'll be a big game Sunday noon on ACC Network. Top 15 matchup. Of course, we will continue to monitor River Baldwin's status and what that means for this game moving forward. But lots of weapons on both sides. And this NC State team, number 3 in the country, and rolling Virginia Tech, a big opportunity for them.